Ladies and gentlemen, gather around and prepare to embark on an unforgettable journey into the exhilarating world of stocks and financial wizardry. Welcome to Stock Marketpedia, where the stock market meets showtime. Let's kickstart this electrifying adventure together and redefine what it means to be the stock market superstar. So without further ado, hit that play button, fasten your seatbelts, and let the financial extravaganza begin. Get ready for a wild ride because Stock Marketpedia is here to rock your world. Michael Burry, known for his accurate economic predictions, has consistently demonstrated his fearlessness in making bold forecasts. Despite initial skepticism, he has proven himself right time and time again. In 2006 and 2007, he warned about the impending collapse of the U.S. housing market, a prediction that materialized with the 2008 financial crisis. In February 2021, when the reported inflation rate was under 2%, Burry boldly predicted a significant surge of inflation in the United States, which has since proven to be true. Similarly, in June 2021, he foresaw a monumental speculative bubble encompassing stocks and cryptocurrencies, and throughout 2022, we witnessed a subsequent crash in these markets. Burry's track record for accuracy continued with the September 2022 prediction of a white-collar-led recession. Presently, we're witnessing massive layoffs across the technology sector, validating his forecast. With the knack for getting things right, Burry has recently made another significant prediction that could potentially have more profound economic implications than his previous ones. While the specifics of his latest forecast are not mentioned, it's clear that Burry's insights carry weight and are worth paying attention to. His stock market outlook for 2023 could have significant ramifications, warranting serious consideration. Burry's ability to make precise forecasts sets him apart and suggests that his latest prediction carries substantial weight in shaping our understanding of the economic landscape ahead. Burry tweets about 2023 inflation. In the past month, Burry has been on a Twitter rampage, sharing his thoughts on the economic environment. Interestingly, he has refrained from deleting his tweets, making it easier for followers to track his insights. On January 2nd, Burry provided an update on his predictions for the coming years. He stated that while inflation may have peaked, it's not the latest peak of the cycle. He believes that we may witness a decline in the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, potentially even turning negative in the second half of 2023. Furthermore, he anticipates the U.S. entering a recession by any definition. Burry expects the Federal Reserve to cut rates and the government to stimulate the economy, resulting in another inflation spike. Burry's confident manner of presenting these predictions is somewhat amusing. He asserts that the upcoming events are almost a given and not a challenging forecast. However, while appreciating his boldness, there is hope that he may be wrong in this particular prediction. Essentially, Burry suggests that the current decrease in inflation is just the end of the first wave, and we can expect more waves of inflation over the next few years. This scenario arises from his belief that the Federal Reserve lacks the determination to keep interest rates high, potentially leading to a recession but failing to suppress inflation decisively. Investors find this potential situation concerning as it mirrors the events of the 1970s, the Great Inflation of the 1970s. The 1970s serves as a prime example of the consequences of mismanaging inflation. Despite initial efforts to control inflation with higher interest rates, the Federal Reserve's premature lowering of rates led to a resurgence of inflation multiple times. Inflation rates fluctuated throughout the decade, prompting a cycle of rate adjustments and economic downturns. It wasn't until Paul Volcker raised interest rates significantly and endured a severe recession that inflation was finally tamed. Michael Burry predicts a similar scenario for the United States in the coming years. He believes that the lessons from history have not been fully learned, and he foresees a continuation of elevated inflation rates, leading to a recession and increased financial hardships for individuals. The political pressure to stimulate the economy and lower interest rates is expected to trigger another wave of inflation. In summary, the parallels drawn from the past caution against repeating the same mistakes. Burry's prediction suggests that without a concerted effort to address inflation in a measured and controlled manner, the United States could face a recurring cycle of inflationary pressures, recessions, and subsequent attempts to stimulate the economy. Political pressure causing inflation cycles. Maintaining high interest rates for an extended period is not an easy decision to make. The public tends to exert political pressure for lower interest rates because it makes people feel better, and politicians aim to keep the population satisfied. Additionally, the chair of the Federal Reserve is nominated by the president, further increasing the likelihood of pressure to lower rates. However, lowering rates prematurely can result in a resurgence of inflation, undoing the efforts made to curb it and exacerbating the financial difficulties experienced during the initial inflationary period. It's crucial to find the right balance and timing in addressing inflation to ensure long-term resolution of the problem. The current macroeconomic situation. In recent years, we've witnessed a combination of supply chain issues and extensive money printing, leading to a significant surge in inflation, reaching its highest level in 4 decades. As a result, the Federal Reserve had to intervene by raising interest rates to curb the economy's momentum and restrict access to borrowed funds for individuals and businesses. However, implementing this measure also slows down economic growth and places increased financial pressure on everyone. It's essentially a choice between 2 unfavorable options, allowing rampant inflation to continue unabated, making everything increasingly unaffordable, or raising interest rates and imposing temporary financial hardships on people to reduce demand for goods and services, thus taming inflation. Historical evidence suggests that the latter approach is preferable. In 2022, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates from near-zero levels to around 4.5%, resulting in a downward trend in inflation. However, it's important to note that high interest rates can be challenging for individuals. Although they're not exceptionally high at present, they are projected to continue rising throughout 2023. For people, high interest rates mean that debts such as mortgages and personal loans consume a larger portion of their disposable income, leaving them with limited funds to spend on other necessities. Overall, the current economic situation involves striking a delicate balance between managing inflation and minimizing the financial burden on individuals. The Fed's plan to conquer inflation. Both Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve itself have repeatedly emphasized their commitment to preventing a repeat of the inflation cycles experienced in the 1970s. In recent press conferences, Powell acknowledged the historical failures of the Federal Reserve during that period and expressed the responsibility of the institution to maintain price stability, which is essential for a strong economy. During the press conference, Powell mentioned that the Federal Open Market Committee, or FOMC, had increased the policy interest rate by 0.5 percentage point and indicated their intention to continue raising rates to achieve a sufficiently restrictive monetary policy that would bring inflation back to the target of 2%. He acknowledged that high inflation causes hardships for individuals, especially those with limited means, as it erodes purchasing power for essential goods and services like food, housing, and transportation. Powell made it clear that the Federal Reserve is cautious about prematurely loosening policy, citing the historical record as a strong cautionary factor. He emphasized a commitment to stay the course until the objective is achieved, indicating that the Federal Reserve is fully aware of the events of the 1970s and determined not to repeat the same mistakes. In summary, Powell's statements, along with the Federal Reserve's stance, demonstrates their awareness of the challenges faced in the 1970s and their dedication to avoiding a similar situation. They emphasize the importance of maintaining price stability and their commitment to achieving their objectives through a prudent and measured approach to monetary policy. Charlie Munger agrees with Michael Burry. Charlie Munger, another renowned investor, shares a similar viewpoint to Michael Burry regarding the Federal Reserve's ability to tackle inflation. Munger acknowledges the effectiveness of Paul Volcker's actions in the 1970s, where he raised interest rates significantly to combat inflation. However, Munger doubts that modern politicians would allow such drastic measures to be taken in today's economic landscape. Munger expresses concern that the conditions that permitted Volcker's actions in the past may not be present now. He believes that politicians would be reluctant to permit another Volcker-like figure to impose a tough recession to control inflation. Munger suggests that the troubles faced today could be different from those in the past and may even be more severe. It's noteworthy that both Burry and Munger share a similar perspective on the challenges of addressing inflation and the potential limitations imposed by the political environment. They raise the possibility of a potential cycle in which the Federal Reserve struggles to lower interest rates, leading to recurring inflationary pressures and subsequent rate increases. In summary, Munger's alignment with Burry's thinking highlights their shared belief that the political landscape may hinder the Federal Reserve's ability to employ stringent measures to curb inflation. Their concerns extend to the potential for unique challenges in addressing current economic issues, potentially surpassing the difficulties faced during Volcker's era. Could Michael Burry be right? Despite the Federal Reserve's stated intentions, both Charlie Munger and Michael Burry argue that the Fed's ability to follow through on its promises remains uncertain. While the Fed aims to bring inflation down to 2 to 3%, Burry and Munger raise concerns about whether the Fed will maintain the necessary willpower to raise interest rates significantly, potentially causing a recession. The fear is that political pressure may mount to keep the public satisfied by loosening monetary policy, such as lowering rates and increasing money supply. Burry predicts that the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, may decrease, possibly even becoming negative, in the latter half of 2023, and the United States will experience a recession by any definition. He suggests that if the Fed cuts interest rates and the government stimulates the economy by printing more money, it could lead to another significant inflationary spike. Burry's lack of confidence in the Federal Reserve appears to be the primary reason behind this pessimistic outlook. Both Munger and Burry expressed doubts about the Fed's ability to navigate the current economic challenges successfully, raising concerns about the potential consequences of their actions or lack thereof. That's a wrap for today's video, but the excitement doesn't stop here. Get ready for more mind-blowing content coming your way. We'll be pumping out videos 3 to 5 times per week, so buckle up for an exhilarating ride. Drop your comments below with your topic requests because we want to hear from you. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay in the loop. Stay tuned for the next thrilling episode in Stock Marketpedia, where we make stocks sizzle.